Oh. Oh, I took 2 or 3 Sudafed. That wasn't a good idea.
That never works for me.
It works for me when I take 3 or 4. And the vodka and cranberry juice doesn't help either. Let me get my whiteboard pulled up. Did I hit record? I am recording. Okay.
He's here. He's up in there.
Who's here?
Maybe stuff.
Well, Miss Youssef, I'm sorry. We already took you off, so you don't exist anymore.
It's all right.
That's all right. It's because I'm a misogynist. That's what it is. Cowboy. All right, so we take this point and this point, and that means this is x of 1, y sub 1. This is x of 2, y sub 2. Slope is equal to delta y over delta x, which is equal to parentheses minus parentheses over parentheses minus parentheses. 5782 minus 4960 over 8 minus 4. I'll do the bottom for you. 4. Somebody do the top. What do you get?
7.
Do the top.
7 minus 4.
I'm sorry, what?
7 minus 4, not 8.
7? Oh, I looked at the other one. All right. Somebody tell me what the top comes out to be.
822.
8 what?
22.
And divide that. What do you get?
274.
274. You feel good about yourself. Now that is the slope. The slope is not the same as the rate of change. As the increase. All right, there's the line right there that we just drew. And the slope of that line is 274 over 1. Okay? Now, you can find new minus old over old. That's your percent change. And that's going to be new minus old over old. And if you need a percentage, multiply that by 100. So your new is 5782 minus 4960 over 4960. And somebody give me that decimal of the 2 places. It's going to be positive because there's not a negative there. So what is come out to be 2 places?
0.16.
Is it 0.16? So that's a 16% increase. If it asks that, I don't know if it's going to ask it or not, but that's a good test question. Now what if it came out to be negative 0.16? Then it'd be a negative slope also, but it would be a decrease of 16%. So, and what they're asking you here is 274 over 1 is what they're asking, and I don't know. That's an okay test question as far as a review. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to transition you from algebra into business. That's what they're trying to do. In other words, nobody is going to walk up to you in a business course and ask you, what's the slope between 2 and 1 and 5 and 8? They're going to ask you stuff like this that has $1 million behind it or years or whatever. Okay? So let's see what else. I don't know. This got 15 parts or what? Of course. Now it says calculate the percentage change between 2007 and 2008. So do that. Now, did they ask for slope or did they ask for percentage change?
Percent change.
Percent change. New minus old over old. So do that. 2007, 2008. So I'm going to take my handy dandy 2007, 2008. 2007, 2008. There you go. Now, I've covered up the number, so now you can't see the number. There, I'll put it back. So go ahead and write those numbers down and find the percentage change between year 7 and year 8. So far, this is a pretty good test question for, I would say, probably chapter 6. No, what chapter are we in? 2, I'm sorry. Chapter 2, which is a review/transition from algebra to business and algebra to calculus. So what's the new? 5691? Yes, Hubert. Thank you, class. Minus 5782 divided by 5782. And somebody give me a decimal. You know it's negative. Why? Because this number is bigger than this number. I'm sorry. This number is bigger than this number. So it's going to be a decrease of what? Point what?
0.01.
0.01. Give me a third digit. 0.01 what?
It rounds up. It's 0.015.
Okay. So that's going to be 1.5% decrease. New minus old over old. I don't know if I told you this story, but when I first started at Tri-County, there was another lady that joined the same time I did because we went through personnel together. We went through have to do all these contracts and stuff. And she was not a teacher. She was more of a staff and director, whatever you want to call it. And about 3 months after we started, she called me up. She said, Hubert, I got a math question. I don't want to ask anybody else. I said, what? She said, how do you do percent change? And she was doing a report for the president, and she was putting together slides, and she was, back then, you didn't have PowerPoint, and she was putting together some slides or whatever the case may be. And she said, I don't know how to do it. And she wasn't a math major. She wasn't a teacher. So she, and I said, new minus old over old. And every time she sees me in the hallway, she says, new minus old over old. It's something that you need to know, not for this course. You need to know it for what? Whenever you get into your job. New minus old over old. Don't ever forget it because you're going to use it in your job, no matter what you're doing. Capiche? Miss Shuttleworth, does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Does it go further? Probably A through E, isn't it?
I think it's the last question it's that last part that I was having a hard time with.
Calculate the change in sales from 2004 to 2008. Change in sales is rate of what?
Change.
What is rate of change? Slope. So in C, I would suggest you need to do the slope. So let's do 2004, 2008. So that means, I'm going to show you a trick I learned in war. Y'all ready for this? I've had training. Aren't y'all impressed?
Wow.
Yeah.
World class.
That's marine.
All right, so find the slope of that one. Now, this is a good test question for Chapter 2 review. Review/transition. So 5691 minus 4960 over 4. And somebody give me that number. Just do the whole thing. 5691 minus 4960 divided by 4. What do you get?
182.75.
182.75. 183. I don't know if that's the answer they want.
I got 731.
Okay, somebody gave me the wrong. Thanks for setting me up for failure,
That's
huh?
right. It's just whenever you subtract the top ones, you get 17. And that was the answer.
Oh, that's what they want. They just want to change. Okay. I thought they want the rate of change. Okay. So forget it. Don't divide by 4. They just want the change. So that would be new minus old. So forget that. Thanks for that 183, but we don't need it. If you take the just change, that would be 569. What does it come out to be? 7 what?
730.
Let's see what they get. Yeah. So don't read into it like I just did. Just do the change. New minus old. So that one ain't too bad. Okay, this is a test question, and we're going to do it on the calculator, and we're going to do it on the Excel spreadsheet. This is a test question. It's very important that you know how to do this, especially in chapter Unit 3, Unit 4, which we're going to spend some time in as soon as we get through all the calculus. So go ahead and write that one down. Just write the points down. Don't worry about the question, because I'm going to show you what to do. And it's very simple. Some of you know how to do it because you invented the calculator and you invented the Excel spreadsheet. That's fine. The ones that don't know how to do it, I'm going to show you how to do it. Now the question says, find the function for the what model? Quadratic. You don't want to do this by hand because it's a pain. What you do is you do it in the calculator or you pull it up on the Excel spreadsheet. I'll give you all a chance. If you have your laptop, you can pull up, no, that's fine. Don't pull up the laptop. Just use your calculator. Type it in. If you don't know how to graph it, I'll show you how to graph it. Then I'll show you how to find the trend line. And then I'll show you how to put the trend line in. Now, I'm teaching a 130 class. I don't know what your calculator skills are, okay? Hopefully, they're not calculator drill team twirling the calculator on your finger like a basketball. I hope not, okay? I hope most of y'all don't know how to do it, because that would be a good thing. But some of y'all name your calculator and have a little bed and put it in beside your bed at home and that kind of thing. Weird. So type it in. I'm going to take my handy dandy Excel spreadsheet and go ahead and type it in. Small so y'all can still see the problem. So 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, and 450. Now, if you like to use the Excel spreadsheet, then write down what I'm doing. I mean, this is just putting it in. I mean, you know how to do that. 3520, 3760, 3820, 3700, and 3380. All right, and once you get all that in, let me go here, let me go here, let me pull up the handy dandy calculator. That goes there, that, just give me a second. I don't have a poster to work with this technology. Yeah, I know. Tri-County Technical College.
Technical college, no, it's only technically a college.
Technical T-Rex College. Okay. Now, if you have if you have an Excel spreadsheet, you highlight the two areas right there, and you hit Insert, and you hit Chart Plot, or what is that called? Scatter plot. Everybody with me? Now, most of y'all know how to do that. If you don't, write it down. Highlight the X and the Y coordinates. You hit Insert, and you go to the middle of the page, right here where it says Charts, and you pick this one, and that chart plot right there. I call it chart plot, scatter plot, whatever you want to call it, okay? Now, once you get to this point, all you have to do is click on the blue dots one time. Then right-click. And you get Add Trend Line. Now, here's where you have to read the directions. The directions said quadratic, did it not?
Yeah.
Quadratic and polynomial are the same thing. And hit down at the bottom, display equation on what? Chart. And there is your equation. Now I'm going to try to make it bigger. There we go. And I'm going to make this bigger. No, I'm not going to make it bigger, but I'm going to slide it over. No, I can't slide it over. Oh, Lord. I need me a poster is what I need.
Yeah, it would fit on a poster.
See, if I had a poster, it'd fit right, wouldn't it?
Yep.
It's showing you how to do this by hand and the tedious math that's behind it.
Posters are like pizzas. They can do no wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Write that down. That's your quadratic for the trend line. Now, did this trend line hit it perfectly? Yes. Will it always? No. That's what a trend line is. Trend line is equal to line of best what?
Fit.
Fit. How'd you know that, Miss Shuttleworth? You must have had a good algebra.
I had a great teacher.
Exactly. Good answer. All right, so how do you do it on the calculator? Well, you hit on. This is going to suck because it's on the left side of the board, and the left side of the board sucks. So, go to Stat. Please don't start coughing. 200.
Hubert, you're too sick.
I need some rock and rye. I think I'm going to go home and get drunk.
There you go.
300, 350, 400, and 450. And then go over to the other column and type in 3080, 3520. Did anybody watch A Good Doctor last night? Oh, it's a good show. He got his job back. He's going out on a date, too.
Is that the one with the autistic doctor?
Yeah. That's the guy that played on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3820.
Like how?
Wait, going on a date with another girl?
He's going on a date
Oh,
next
the old
episode. Huh?
The old girl or the new?
The girl that was in,
the apartment complex?
no, she thought she was, he walked right by her. He said, how do I look? And she said, oh, great. And he walked right by her. Anyway, the guy, you know, when he lost his job and he had to work in the lab, the girl in the lab, 33A, she said, she accepted, though. He'll probably screw it up, like he screwed up his job. Okay, so what do? You just sit there and stare at it for 15 minutes. No, you go to
Exactly.
second, stat plot, hit enter, turn it on. It's already defaulted to what? Scatter plot, and it's already defaulted to L1 and L2. All you got to hit now is graph. Now you may not see it. Why? Because most of your business type questions are going to be in what quadrant? Unless you suck as a business person, most of them will be in the first quadrant. So I would hit zoom and go down to, I think it's 9. Zoom stat. There you go. Now you've got to find out the equation. So you hit stat, calculate, and number 5. What does number 5 say? Quadratic regression, meaning the best fit on the quadratic model. That's what it means. Hit enter, It's going to default to L1 and L2. All you got to do is hit calculate. And there you go. Fill in the blanks. A is equal to negative 0.37. There it is. Negative 0.374. 25.529. And negative 527. Now, these two things that you're using right here are very important for 230 and the rest of 130. In fact, I had to do a question for 230 because the guy that usually does 230, he's retired, so I had to develop a question for some kind of bureaucracy for 230. Anyway, and it did this right here. So you have to either use your calculator or you have to use, now if you try to do it by hand, you'll be on number 2 when everybody else is finishing the test. Okay, it's very tedious and we're not even going there. Okay, anybody got a question? And we'll probably do a couple of these before we have the test on Unit 3 or Unit 2. But that's a very good question. You did good, Ms. Shuttleworth. Now you can do anything. You can plug in X's. Now the only thing they're going to ask you after this is what happens at 500? Well, what happens at 500? You can actually extend, but I don't know if this will let you. Hold on a second. Well, I can't do it because I've already done it. Okay, there we go. Down here, you can forecast forward, but I don't use that very often. I don't know if you can type in 500. Okay, well, no, it's not. Don't do that. That'll screw it up. But you can play with it. I'm not gonna mess with it. But you can set the intercept. You can do that. You can display the R factor, which tells you if there's a correlation or not. But you don't have to do that. That's just extra things that are on there. Okay? But they will ask you, what about 500? And you'll put 500 in for X and calculate it out. Capiche? And 500 looks like it's going to be close to what? 3,000? Somewhere in there? If you was to follow this trend line down, be somewhere right in here. I think it'd be probably 28, 2,900. So, capiche?
Capiche.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Let's see what the next question is. I want to get on to other questions. I want to get to chapter 3. If I ever get there. Yeah. Use the model to calculate the average rate of change. So how do we find the derivative of this function? We take 2 times negative 0.37. Now, I don't know if let's say, use the model to calculate the average rate of change of profit when the ticket price rises from 200 to 250. So from 200 to 250, they want you to find the slope. So there's 2 points, find the slope. Rate of change means slope. Use the model to calculate the average rate of change of profit when the ticket price 400 to what? 400 to what?
450.
Take the slope there. So they're just asking you to find the slope of those two. Capiche? All right, what does this one say? All right, good. Do this one. And you can do it on your calculator. I'll do it on the Excel spreadsheet. Now it says, for the logistical, what does logistical mean? What's the first 3 letters of logistic? Log. Okay, so it's either going to be an exponential or it's going to be a logarithmic. Looks like an exponential, so you would say exponential on the trend line. So this is when you appreciate technology, because if it would take you a page and a half of algebra to find the equation for this line. So you might want to be glad you got a calculator. There's nothing, this is what a calculator is used for. Taking the square root of 25 on your calculator, you're advertising you can't spell mom backwards. And you probably can't make change, and you probably take a picture beside a black Jaguar. Dumbass.
What happened?
Yeah. She jumped in the enclosure with a freaking cat.
Poor old baby.
I ain't kidding you. And people want to legalize drugs? Good God Almighty, we're already stupid. I'm not talking about medical, I'm talking about legalized drugs. We already got so many stupid people that are brain dead.
Heroin.
Yeah, let's just go eat heroin. Put heroin on your dadgum cornflakes every morning. That way you can snort condoms a whole lot faster and eat Tide Pods a whole lot faster. Dumbasses.
Don't not.
I still like the challenge when you run and you hit the windshield of the car, the passenger or driver's side rear door. You try to break the window with your head. That's the best challenge.
I like the bird box challenge where you just close your eyes for a day. That's pretty cool.
What?
The bird box challenge, you just close your eyes. You're blind now. That's the challenge.
Okay, so you sleep all day.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pull up, slide it over. Okay, it's not gonna let me do that. I'm just gonna go down and start another one. 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 49, 21, 47, 74, 44, 34, 36, 60, 24, 42, 12, 51, 5, 23, 199, and 72. Y'all go ahead and do y'all's calculator. That's what it looks like. Logarithmic. Trying to find the best fit. There it is. That's probably the best fit. Let's see what they get. That's not what they got. It's not linear. Not logarithmic. It's not poly. This has to be that one. But that don't look like what they got. I don't know what they got.
I use logistic on the
Huh?
I use logistic on the calculator.
Oh, y'all have logistic on there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
well, I don't know what they don't have it on here. Huh. Oh well, I guess you can't use the moving average. No. Ooh, that's close. But you can't display right there. So we're gonna have to use the calculator on this one. I thought for sure the logarithmic would have got it. Stat, edit. It's a typical day. Sudafed. Feeling bad. Really not feeling it, y'all.
Probably quit.
Just quit, yeah. All right, 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, and 25. Why isn't it going up? What the heck? 1, 4, 10, 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, and 25. I thought that's what I typed in. 72, 199, 523, 1251, 224, 42, 36, 60, 44, 34, 47, 74, and 49, 21. And click on Stat, Calculate, and go down till you get Logistic. And calculate. And it's going to take a few seconds. Now you need to write that down because it's not on the, I'll have to see if there's a way you can do that on the Excel spreadsheet. Oops. Write those down. So it's going to be 1 over 99.53 e to the negative 0.35 times 4994. Now somebody needs to multiply that 0.35 number times that 4994 because that's probably what they've got in the answer. So it's 1 over 99.53 ... raised to the, what is 4994 times 0.35? Just give me a number. You don't have to put all of it in. 0.35 times 4994.
Isn't it 4994 over?
Okay, you're right. It's to the negative b, so that's 0.35x. I'm sorry, 0.35x. My bad. I thought it was multiplied by c. Okay, c. Yes, 4994 divided by 1 plus 99.53 raised to the negative 0.35x power. Do y'all have that? Let's see what the answer is. But like I say, you can't even think about doing this by hand. It'd take you 2 or 3 pages. So enjoy there it is, 0.351x. Okay? And of course, graph it. Now, you don't even want to try to graph that line, okay? You don't even want to try to graph it because it'd take more time to type it in than it would. But it is increasing because you can see that it's going up. And then they ask you to substantiate between 1 and 6. Find the what? Percentage increase, new minus old over old, new minus old over old. Okay? So that's a good question also. All right, let's move along. Try to move as fast. I want to get to chapter 3 questions because I don't want anybody to be behind on chapter 3. And we've about gone through chapter 3, but we still got some chain rule. I got to show you the trigonometric functions. Let me hit some chapter 3 right quick. So here's the power rule. Let's see, what does this say? All right, this is a good test question. First of all, there's 2 things in calculus that you always need to remember. One is you always need to remember that radicals and calculus don't what? Mix. So you have to change radicals into rational exponents. Now what do you got to remember here? You got to remember, if this thing would work, I don't know why the whiteboard is doing it. You got to remember here that you always want to write your exponents on the same level with your coefficient. So 1, radicals and calculus don't what? Don't mix. So you got to change that rational exponent, you got to change that into x to the 1/2 power. The second thing is the variable and the coefficient need to be on the same level. So I've got to change this from 9 over x squared to what? 9x to the what?
Negative square.
Negative 2. And that's what you got to remember about fractions. All right? So with radicals, you change to x to the 1/2. In this case, we're going to change it. And now you just do your handy-dandy what? Power rule. What's negative 2 times 9? Negative 18, x to the negative 2 minus 1. Negative 18, x to the negative 3. Negative 18 over what? X to the 3rd. Now, if you plug in 1 into this, what are you going to get? What's negative 18 over positive 1? Negative 18. Oh, this one, so this one is where I start putting in the watch it so you can actually see a video on it. Yeah, that gum web sign getting up with the 2019. Got some videos in there. Do they suck? Yeah. Okay, I've kind of figured that. Question on that one? That's a test question. The reason, a lot of people say, why do you put that on the test? It's so easy. It's not easy to a person that's never seen calculus before. I know some of y'all invented calculus, but some of y'all didn't. Okay? Let's go with this 3. That was 3.1. Here's another 3.1 right here.
That's the one we just did.
Oh, you sent it twice? Okay. Well, then I'll cover...
No, I just sent it once.
Oh, you just sent it once. It just sent it twice. Okay. Or I just went over it. I don't know. I don't even want to... It's Sudafed. Oh, it put... Okay. There's one. 3.1. Another power rule. See what that one says. It's a good test question right here. I want the derivative. I don't care about the slope. You can find the slope after you plug it in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this one. Especially, now I'm talking to those people that never has had calculus. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this. And I'm going to say f of t, of course they use t all the time, is equal to 6t to the 0 power minus 8 times 5t to the what? Negative 1, Hubert. Oh, I can't bring that. I can't do that. I can't. That's a boo-boo. 8 over 5. And you bring 8 over 5 out. And to bring that t up, that would be t to the what? Negative 1. And what happens when you take the derivative of a constant? 0 times 6 is what? 0t to the negative 1, which goes out. Now let's do this one. What's negative 1 times negative 8/5? Positive 8/5. And t to the negative 1 minus 1 is equal to 8/5 times what? T to the negative 2 over 1. And what do I do when I bring that back down, when I flip it? 8 over what? 5t squared. So they give you t as 1/3. What are you going to do when you type in 1/3? You're going to put it in for t. Okay? So here, there's t is equal to 1/3. So 8 over 5 times 1/3 raised to the what? Second power. Might as well forget this. Why? You got fractions, and y'all can't do what? Fractions. What's 1 squared?
1.
Over 9, which is equal to 8 over 1 divided by 5 over 9. And what do you do when you divide by a fraction? Good job. And that gives you 72 over what? Hey, we got it right. Now, by the time you get through with chapter when you get through with 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and maybe 3.4, you should be very fluent at taking the first, second derivative. I don't know if we get into the second derivative with chapter 3, but you should be able to do this without any problem. That's a good test question. So let's go back. Let's see, what time is it? 10:28. I'm going to let y'all go a little bit early, but not right now. So let's go back to the... Anybody got a question on that one? It's just rewriting. You got to rewrite them. Oh, there's a 3.2. Now we're getting into some test questions. There we go. This is not only the power rule, but you got a whole lot of stuff going on right here. Okay? First of all, we're going to use the what? The power rule, not the power rule, the product rule, because what's in between that x to the 4th and that bracket? Multiplication symbol. So I'm going to rewrite this because most of calculus is rewriting to where you know what's going on. And I'm going to bring this x plus 7, I'm going to bring that up top. Well, no, I'm not going to do that right yet. So f of x is equal to x to the 4th, and I'm going to put a star right here so you'll know that we're going to use the product rule. And that's going to be 1 minus 1 over x plus 7. So I want you to rewrite this first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Now you don't have to take the derivative, I just want you to write it. First, and that's the product rule, first times the derivative of the second, so I'm going to write 1 minus 1 over x plus 7, and I'm going to put a little prime right there, plus the second, 1 minus 1 over x plus 7 times the derivative of the what?
First.
Times the derivative of the first, which would be x to the 4th prime. All right, so all I did was put it in the product rule. Okay? First times the derivative of the second, and I'll put brackets here. First times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of what? The first. Now I'm going to take the derivative. Now this thing right here may look very intimidating, but it's not. Okay? Because you got to use the quotient rule inside the product rule. So first times the derivative of the second. Okay? The derivative of this, what's the derivative of 1?
0.
So this is going to be negative 1 over x plus 7. Everybody with me? And I'm still going to put a derivative, because I haven't taken the derivative of that yet. I just took the derivative of that 1, because that goes away. Plus the second, 1 minus 1 over x plus 7 times the derivative of, what is the derivative of x to the fourth? I'm asking y'all to interact with me.
4x to the third.
4x to the third. Now we got a problem. This is the quotient rule. So you got to do the quotient rule right here. Or, now that you know the chain rule, you can bring that x plus 7 up to the negative 1 power, and you can do the power rule with the chain rule. So I'm going to do both ways so you can see, how you do it. So here we go. X to the fourth. And now we're going to use the quotient rule. Denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over denominator what? Squared. And that has a negative out front. That's where you get the x plus 7 squared. See there? That's where it comes from. Plus, and what is 4x to the third times 1?
4x to the third.
So that's going to be 4x to the third over x plus 7. Okay, it's going to be, I'm sorry. It's going to be 4x. I got to distribute it. Let me go back. I got to distribute that. Because we're just doing algebra now. Be 4x. Really? I'm sorry. Y'all just going to have to bear with. Okay, I think it's about time to go home. 4x to the third minus 4x to the third over x plus 7. We may not have to do that. Right now I'm just trying to get you to where. Now, I could have brought this up while over here. I'm going to pull this over here. Okay, I'm going to pull this over here. And I'm going to say, I could have wrote that as negative 1. That'd be x plus 7 to the negative 1 power. Does everybody see what I did there? I rewrote this. I didn't take the derivative. I still got to take the derivative, so I'm going to put that in. I brought that over here, and this is the power rule. We're going to use the power rule with the chain rule here. Now that you know what the chain rule is. Okay? We haven't taken the derivative of that yet. We took it right here with the quotient rule. See there? So, we got a mess here, but the good thing is, what happens to this? What happens to the first times the denominator times numerator prime? What happens to that? Goes out to 0. Why? Because what's the derivative of 1?
0.
0. So that whole thing goes out. And then all you got here is this negative is going to make this a positive. So you're going to have x. We've got to change it. You're going to have to get a common denominator for that. So we're going to have to make this small. I'm going to try to make it small. Yeah, I figured it wasn't going to do it. Let's see if I can do this. And change that to a group. And make it smaller. Hold on, I'm trying to get it to where I can make it smaller. There we go. And this is going to be x to the fourth over 1 minus, well, I'm going to leave that minus there so I won't mess it up. And I get negative x, well, we got to take the derivative. What is the derivative of x plus 7?
7x to the 6. Or
1?
1. My bad.
That's all right. That's minus, I gotta rewrite this, that's gonna be negative x, negative 1, sorry, negative 1 over x plus 7 quantity squared plus, this is going to be 4x, this is a nasty problem, 4x to the third over 1 minus 4x to the third over x plus 7. And now we got to get a common denominator, which is going to be x plus 7 quantity what? Squared. So x plus 7 quantity squared minus, I'm going to put that in brackets because we got to change it, minus x plus 7 quantity squared, we don't have to change that one, but I'm going to just put it in brackets for right now, plus x plus 7 quantity squared minus x plus 7 quantity squared. Put that in brackets. All right, how many times will 1 go into x plus 7 quantity squared? X plus 7 quantity squared times x to the fourth, x plus 7 quantity squared, and then this doesn't change, or negative 1, sorry. And then 1 will go into x plus 7, so that's 4x cubed times x plus 7 quantity squared, and then minus 4x to the third. Now you can put everything over x plus 7 quantity squared. Everybody got that? X plus 7 quantity squared, and then write a big old, and you're going to have a lot to do because you got x to the fourth times x plus 7 quantity squared. What's negative 1 minus 1? Positive 1. And then you got plus 4x cubed times x plus 7 quantity squared minus what? 4x cubed. And now it's just what in the numerator? Shortcut number 1. And you're going to have to simplify that. Pray. So that's going to be x to the fourth times x squared plus 14x plus 49 plus 1 plus 4x cubed times x squared plus 14x plus 49 minus 4x cubed. And then that's going to give you x to the sixth, and that's going to be a mess. So I think it'd be better just to change this to negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Then that's going to be x plus 7 to the negative what? 2. And then what's the derivative of what's inside? 1. So 1 times 1. So if you take the derivative here, you're going to get 1 over x plus 7 quantity what? Squared. So that's a whole lot better than all of this trash. So what we'll do is we'll do this problem again, and this time we're not going to do all that. We're going to change this right here, down here, we're going to change it to that because we did the quotient rule, the power rule with the what? The chain rule. So that problem is nasty. Who sent that one? Miss Novak? Miss Novak, that one's nasty.
Yeah.
Did you get through it?
I tried, but I was really stuck.
Yeah, this is 99% algebra. You only got like 1 or 2% calculus, and it's 99% algebra. I'll go through it again with y'all when we come back. Remind me to go over this one again. Miss Bryant, remind me to go over this one again. Write it down. It's number 12. Number 12, 3.2 from Miss Novak. I want to go over that one again. And this time, next time, instead of doing the quotient rule here, we're just going to do this, and that'll be 1. So Miss Novak, take this right here. Take that.
Okay.
I'm going to circle that in red. Take that right there and plug it in for this. There's a negative there. Plug it in right there, and I think it'll work out a whole lot easier.
Okay.
Okay, try that, and we'll go over that again when y'all come back. Y'all have a good day. Keep working on chapter 2 and 3, because we're going to finish up 3 here in a little bit. Y'all have a good day.
You too.